2024 has been an interesting year for monitors. We've seen so many OLED panels, and then there was something that I wasn't expecting: dual mode monitors. While this new Alienware AW2725QF gaming monitor is an OLED, it is a 4K 27-inch 180Hz IPS gaming monitor that can also run at 1080p 360. 27 inches is kind of considered the sweet spot for gaming monitors, but is it any good? Let's check it out.
This video is brought to you by VIPSCDkey.com. Have you ever installed Windows 11 only to see the watermark of death? You don't need to fork out a couple of $100s for a key. You can grab one from today's video sponsor, from VIPSCDkey.com for a tenth of the price. You can use our code GEAR to get 30% off for this month only. How good is that? That takes that already cheap Windows 11 key and makes it even cheaper. It's easy as placing your order. Bingo bango. You've got your new key on your orders page. You chuck that key into the activation screen and you're good to go. No more watermark of death. Use code GEAR to get 30% off for this month only. Link in the description. On with the video. Back to you, Nick.
Straight off the bat, the Alienware AW2725QF is launching right now for $599 US, or around about 1,050 Aussie dollars, give or take, depending on when you're looking at this video. As far as specs go for the Alienware AW2725QF, it features a 27-inch 3840 by 2160 IPS panel with a refresh rate of 180 Hz overclocked with a peak brightness of around about 600 nits as reported by Windows. The AW2725QF has a response time of 0.5 milliseconds gray to gray and 1 millisecond in that extreme mode. While it's not as fast as an OLED panel, this is perfectly acceptable. It's also fully G-Sync and VESA Adaptive Sync compatible. The AW2725QF supports 95% of the DCI-P3 color space, and this panel here, like most other panels on the market, has a 178-degree wide viewing angle with a 1000:1 contrast ratio in both SDR and HDR respectively. If you're looking at mounting the AW2725QF to an existing compatible monitor arm solution, it also should work fine too. The included stand is fully height, tilt, swivel, and rotation adjustable. While I'm on the topic of the stand, this is something that I kind of like about these Alienware panels, and they've got this little hole just above the level where the I/O is on the monitor stand. And there's also a cutout at the bottom of the stand, and you can pass the cables through the stand and out the back so you don't see any cables. Even though this sounds like most monitors do it, they don't do it in the way that these Alienware panels do it, and I think that more monitors need to do it as cleanly as we see with these Alienware panels. I know I get a bit off topic sometimes, but those little bits of attention to detail to me are super important, and you guys should be looking at stuff like this too. With saying that, the build quality of the AW2725QF is excellent. It is very premium, if a little bit gamery, but you're not going to have any issues with it at all. If I'm being honest, the whole huge numbers on the back of the panel is kind of growing on me. I kind of like that. I know it's not something that you see, but it's better than other logos on other panels, like the big ROG logo, the big Aorus logo, or big MSI Dragon. It just looks a bit better. There's also this little hidden feature on the AW2725QF too. It's on the side here, look at this, right? It's got a little retractable headphone hanger. And I know it's probably not that useful, but it's there and you're paying for it. So, you know, we might as well mention it because I know some people that probably would use it. All of these little bits of attention to detail are really nice, and I think Alienware's good at this, but there are some things that we'll come back to. As far as connectivity, it features a single DisplayPort 1.4 port with DisplayStream compression, two HDMI 2.1 ports, one of which supports eARC, so if you've got a soundbar or a headset that uses HDMI, you can use that too. There's one USB Type-B port for uplink, two USB Type-A ports, and a USB Type-C port with 15-watt PD charging. All of the USB ports here are 5 gigabit ports. Just as a bit of a side note, I always see comments from people wondering why monitors like this one here don't have DisplayPort 2.1. It's really simple. 4K 180Hz and 1080p 360Hz does not require it. There's no point having it. You end up paying more money for something that is out of the spec of the panel and you just don't need. DisplayPort 1.4 is more than adequate. The out-of-the-box calibration is really nice for a gaming monitor. I didn't really need to adjust too many settings on the panel at all. The AW2725QF has nice out-of-the-box brightness, and unlike some other panels from Alienware, this wasn't too dim. In fact, it's pretty spot on for brightness. To answer the question, does it work on consoles? Guys, it's Alienware. Of course it does. Alienware does a great job of implementing console-specific features and kind of nice to haves like HDMI 2.1 on all the HDMI ports, VRR or variable refresh rate technology. This seems like pretty pedestrian features for the seasoned PC gamer, but for consoles, it's very important to have this stuff. That said, I didn't test the AW2725QF with the console because that's what my 75-inch OLED TV is for. You know, consoles are for TVs. Anyway, that's gonna make some people mad. All right, gamers, what's the deal with the AW2725QF? Well, to put this simply, it's really solid, and I forgot how good a nice IPS panel is, because I gotta level with you guys, I've been using OLED panels quite a bit lately and I just forgot. And I know people love OLED panels, and I agree, OLED panels are great, but you have to pay OLED money for OLED performance. This is one of the highest spec IPS panels, and if you look at IPS panels from just a year ago, this has much better performance than those and for less money, right? Now I'm getting a bit off topic here, but that's something that I do here. Now, if you guys don't know, I'm a PC gamer. I like games, man. I like shooting things in COD, and I've played enough of it on the AW2725QF to determine how good this is for gaming. And I've got to say, it's pretty simple here, guys. I liked it, right? that's it. Like for me, personally, it did feel a bit small at times because I'm used to gaming on bigger panels. Well, actually, it felt small at 4K. Hear me out. When using this at 1080p mode in 360 Hz, it felt like just the right size. I guess when the resolution is noticeably lower, it makes the panel feel larger, or maybe I just got used to the size. Regardless, the gaming experience on this panel was great, given you're playing at the optimal viewing distance, because it is a 27-inch monitor. And this sounds stupid to say because maybe 20 years ago, TVs in your lounge room were only 27 inches, but in that 50 to 90 centimeter range, it's spot on. At least that's what I found, at least. I think the 1080p dual mode feature is better suited to a 27-inch panel and less suited to something like the ROG 32-inch OLED that we covered a little while ago. Yeah, this is just kind of perfect for that because it's not as noticeable as a big old 32-inch, but let's go back to the topic at hand. The gaming experience is nice, and I really enjoyed my time using the AW2725QF to click on heads. But I'm a little bit rusty, as you can probably see with all these clips. My aim is terrible at the moment, but I did play a little bit of Black Ops 6 beta just to get ready for head clicking season, because you know, at the end of the year it's COD time, but I didn't record any of that, but you're just gonna have to deal with my terrible plunder clips from Warzone, because yeah, I don't know, I'm going a bit off topic today. Okay, what's the deal with this thing? What don't I like about it? There's one thing that I really don't like, and it's only one thing, believe it or not. Again, it's like other Alienware panels. It's that USB Type-C port. It does not support DisplayPort Alt. So you can't plug your laptop into it, you can't plug your phone into it, and I know some people are like, oh, I don't care, but it should do it. I've complained about Alienware monitors not doing this before, but honestly, it's only because this is something that I use, and I would really love to see Alienware take the initiative and add a pretty basic feature in their future panels. It's not something they can retrospectively or retroactively add because the technology is not in the panel. Also, the PD charging being only 15 watt is pretty strange too, but I guess because it doesn't do DisplayPort Alt over USB-C, I can overlook that because you're not going to be using this to use as your laptop display while charging your laptop, if that makes sense. I guess the question is, would I personally use the Alienware AW2725QF? Yes. I honestly don't really have anything bad to say about this panel at all. You're essentially getting two monitors in one. You're getting a high refresh rate in both 1080p and 4K. You're getting great color reproduction. You're getting good build quality, and it's not too gamery, although I mean, that's up for debate. It's the right size for a dual mode monitor, and the price is good too. When you consider that there isn't a dual mode 27-inch baseline, and this price isn't too outrageous. To be honest, there also isn't another 27-inch IPS panel to compare this to because of how unique the feature set is with dual mode. Sure, you can get a 27-inch high refresh rate 4K IPS panel for cheaper, but there almost isn't any that can pump out 180 Hz at 4K, let alone also run 1080p 360 Hz as well. On top of all of that, OLED isn't the be all and end all of display tech, and I even blame myself for kind of getting lost in that because I use it so much. Yeah, it's great, but it's only great if you can afford it. Especially considering that the price seems to be competitive for the Alienware AW2725QF, and the whole argument of buying an OLED TV as a monitor is just silly. TVs are not monitors, they're just not. And not everyone wants a 48-inch TV for a monitor. Stop this, it's not a valid argument, guys. Now, let's get back to the AW2725QF. This is a very unique panel from Alienware, and I don't hate it. I actually really like this monitor, and I know it's hard for me to say that I like something because everything's been so hit and miss with tech lately, but this is really, really good. I know that by the time this video comes out, or by the time you get around to watching this video, there might be 2 or 20 other panels that have the same feature set. But right now, as of filming this is on its own. There is absolutely nothing. There just isn't another monitor that does 180 Hz / 360 Hz dual mode that isn't OLED. So good work, Alienware, for thinking a little bit out of the box. I didn't want to like this monitor, but I do.